following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to MSP North, the first show of 2023. My name is Brady McAtamney. That's Blaine Keller. Blaine, how are you? How's your new year going?
I'm trying a little bit new of a fashion sense here. Got the solid color shirt rocking here. I hope you guys can kind of tell it's a little darker in here today, but I'm trying out this new style. A couple episodes ago, I did some layering. I'm trying to keep up with the times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as long as your wife approves, I think you'll probably be okay. We're excited to bring you another new show, first time in a couple weeks. So definitely excited to be back. We're starting off with Russell Malone, head coach of the West Creek Coyotes boys basketball team, coming off a tournament win. Russell, how you doing today?
Hey, doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. So you won that holiday tournament up in Kentucky, went 3-0 there. Tell us about what you saw from your guys and how good it is to kind of get that win.
Well, I saw a lot of real good things out of our guys. Of course, the week didn't start out too great, from a standpoint of, we got a little snow coming in on Sunday night, and we couldn't practice on Monday because of the hazardous roads. We had 10 days off prior to that, so Tuesday's practice was a little worrisome because they were a little bit, kind of out of routine and a little winded from a couple, about a week and a half off, and that was all the design. And we have players who travel a lot through the holidays because of military families and things like that. So it wasn't a big deal. But I knew Tuesday was going to be a tough practice, and then but we really focused on using the tournament as a kind of a teaching tool for the postseason. We came in every morning, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 o'clock, went through pregame shoot around, talked about our opponent, rolled through a scouting report, what we needed to do to win and what we needed to have to stop and what kind of our game plan was. And I said, when you get into the postseason, a lot of times, there's little to no practice. It's a lot of walkthroughs and a lot of watching film and things like that. So I thought the players responded quite well on the short turnaround, practice wise, and then did quite well and implementing some game plans. And it was difficult a little bit from a standpoint of we played Covington in the semifinals, and they pressed from start to finish, from baseline to baseline, where there was full court man-to-man running trap or a 2-2-1, and so we had to adapt to that style. And then the championship game, we had to adapt to a different style where Todd County was a little more of a half court, rebounded well and got out some transition. And so to be able to kind of go from, multiple different styles that we had to play against and be successful was good. I thought one of the things we did fantastic was just we competed very well. We competed at a high level. We were starting to kind of know what our roles are and know what our jobs are as individual players to help our team win. And for all that to kind of come together in 1 week was absolutely awesome. So I was really excited for our kids and that they were able to go out and achieve such a neat little task and accomplish a nice goal around the holidays.
Yeah, Coach, and when you look at your record through the month of December here, 10-4, and as Brady mentioned, that impressive tournament win in Todd County at Elkton. When you look at last year through December, you guys had the same exact mark. You were 10-4, but when you finished out the season, you went 6-7. In what ways do you feel like this year's team can avoid that same similar fate that you guys had from last year?
This year's group's a little different than last year's group. Last year's group, we were led by Sean LaFortune, and I think some, savvy scheduling early helped us go 10-4. And then our district slate last year was a lot different. I mean, we had a veteran CHS team that went to the state tournament, a very strong Ross U team, and of course Northeast, coming off of all their postseason success in the previous couple of years. So when we turned the corner in January last year, we were even though we had a 10-4 record, we still were, behind several other teams in the district as far as not only record, but, experience. We felt like we were doing a good job last year, but when you turn around and you're having to face a veteran CHS team twice, it's a little bit different. This time around, we have a little bit more veteran leadership, but this time around, we also got a lot more depth than we did last year. Players, last year's team, we went about 7 deep. We pulled 2 guys off the bench and played there, but this group right now, I could very easily play all 12 and never miss a beat. And that's actually been one of the more difficult parts going in this first part of the season, is trying to find, which combination of players work, who's playing well, not only in the first half or second half, but who's playing well that week, and kind of trying to build some chemistry. So I feel a little bit more confident turning the corner this year, that with our depth and a little bit more veteran leadership, that we won't suffer the same fate.
Yeah, we're here with Russell Malone, head coach of West Creek boys basketball team. Russell, we know you got to get to class soon, so we'll hit you with one more question here. You guys have kind of taken on this team identity of kind of being the underdogs, having this chip on your shoulder, maybe not talked about as much as some of the other schools in the area. I know, of course, I have a hand in that, being one of the main media guys here. Tell me about this kind of identity that you guys have taken on. Of course, you and I talked about it after games, but why don't you let Blaine and let the people know kind of what you guys have taken on.
Well, and that was actually, that kind of came about in our preseason meetings. We have our kids, do some work in their notebooks, in their lockers, and we jot down a lot of things from, quotes and ideas and goals. But, we spent an afternoon talking about what kind of identity we wanted to have. And one of the players mentioned, one of our older guys, seniors, mentioned that, we often get overlooked too often. And of course, we talked about it at length. I said, I agree. We often get overlooked, and I think it hurts because we do put a lot of time and effort. I said, but at the same rate, I said, you have to create some a resume, a consistent resume, to prevent from being overlooked. You can't be a program that has one really, really good year and then drops off, for the next 3 years, and then you have another really good year and you expect everybody to give you attention. When you want to be recognized as one of the best programs in the city, you've got to be doing that consistently. And that's one of the things we talked about, that, every night we want to go out there and try to be consistent, and work hard and be recognized as one of the top programs in the city. And I feel like we're beginning to do that. And I think you add the fact, and I've mentioned this multiple times with the media earlier, we're now getting consistent groups of kids and at West Creek who have been in our system, not only at the high school level, but they went to elementary school, they went to middle school, and they've played together. So the chemistry is beginning to be a lot easier to work with, because I've got a freshman class that's been playing together since they were elementary school. My junior class has done the same thing. So when you have that type of consistency, and you have consistency in the coaching staff, and the program's consistent, we're hoping that that's going to result in a lot more success. And considering we were 16-10 last year, and we're 10-5 at the moment, and have an opportunity to be right in the hunt for a district and regional championship at the end of the year, I feel like that we can begin to change that image.
Absolutely. Well, Russell, obviously, I'm rooting for you, because the more good teams I got, the more fun my job is. And obviously, it would be awesome to see West Creek make a little noise here. Thank you so much for joining us today, man. Good luck as district play starts up, and I'll see you soon.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Quick break coming up here. When we come back, we got another interview coming at you from Springfield. You won't want to miss it, and we will see you in a minute.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You feel
a good try.
There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
And we're back on Main Street Preps North, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brady McAtamney, Blaine Keller, bringing you Robertson and Montgomery County sports coverage. We continue with Springfield girls basketball coach Tara Coran. Coach Coran, how are we?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. And I'm sure overall, when you kind of look at your program right now and the way that the things have gone over the past couple of games, things might be feeling a little bit better for the Lady Yellow Jackets. First winning streak of the season for you guys, beating Northwest and White House Heritage over these last couple of games. Just to start off here, does it feel like things are starting to turn a corner a little bit?
Oh, we hope so. I don't like to say things too early. I still think there's some things that needs to click a little bit better on defense for us. Our shooting percentage needs to get better. That's one of the things that tends to happen in our wins. Our shooting percentage is usually in that 40 to 45% on those wins that we've had. And then when we're shooting at the 35%, those are the games we're dropping. So we're missing those easy shots. So, we've done a lot of shooting over the past, winter break practices, trying to build that up.
Yeah, and one player that I think offensively a lot of people have looked at, when you look at the talent of this roster, there are a couple of players that really stick out. Kylie Bradley and Tanaya Partee is another one who I think in both of those games, both of those wins had at least a double-double. I think in the second one she had double-figure points and kind of 8 rebounds or something like that. How important do you think her play is for you guys and the success you're trying to reach this year?
For Tanaya, it's huge. Tanaya takes us either way. So if she's having a great night, we're all having a great night. If she's having an off game, it seems that we're all having that off game. So, when I've talked about leadership and a lot of times it's kind of me looking at her, wanting her to help carry the team. So if she's having a bad game, she's got to be able to find ways to keep the team going. When she's hitting everything, all of a sudden we have those other players that are stepping up, hitting everything because, when you feel good, a lot of times those shots go in. But if she kind of gets down on herself, then I see those younger players that kind of carry that attitude as well. So, yeah, she just grabbed her 4th double-double of the season against White House Heritage with she had 13 rebounds in that game.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a big deal for us, keeping her out of foul trouble and kind of keeping her on track. She's still, a lot of her shots, I joke about it. That she pads her stats. Some of those rebounds are her own shots. Now it's great that she's following those shots, but if her shooting percentage was up a little bit more, she'd be unstoppable. So, I kind of tell her that, some of her drives in there are more like a turnover for us. She's got to be more automatic. Those have got to go in. You got to drive in there, not with the hope that they're going to foul us, but with the hope or with the knowledge that I'm going in there to put this in the goal. So yeah, that's the big thing for Tanaya, is just kind of pushing her to be like, you're capable of so much more than what you're showing us. And then Kylie Bradley, she started off the season with having that great night where she hit, I think 5 threes the first night when we played Sycamore at home. And I told her after that game, I was like, nobody's going to let you have 5 threes again. You're going to have to work really hard for that. So, we've been really working on trying to get her her opportunities and get, our point guards are kind of younger. So kind of getting them to see, when she would be open and when to get her the ball and give her more opportunities as well.
Yeah, we are on with Tara Coran, head basketball coach at Springfield for the girls team. Tara, you play obviously all Clarksville teams in your district. Obviously, having some talent on the team is going to help with that. You just beat Northwest, who is a team in the region. Of course, another Clarksville team there. How do you guys feel that you fare in the district right now?
In the district, I'd be honest, I'm hoping for third place. And for us, that's better than we've done in 2 years. So Clarksville is going to be tough. Rossi is going to be tough. We're going to have to play near perfect games to grab wins out of them. But I think, West Creek and Northeast, those are games that, if we play our cards right, I'm hoping that those are wins for us. But, Rossview has a stacked roster in Clarksville. Amari Berry, I can't. If I could play a couple extra players on the floor, I think I could be able to stop her. But she's tough. She's the real deal, and it's frustrating. But as a fan of women's basketball, it's also nice to be able to see those players in your own area and be like, she's got a lot of offers. She's a great player, and she's a really nice kid. And you want to dislike her, but you can't because she's actually a really nice kid.
Coach, overall, you mentioned Rossview and Clarksville and how dominant those two programs are looking so far at this point of the season. But you also mentioned Northeast and West Creek, teams that are probably more beatable than they've been in recent years. When you look at the talent on your roster and the state of the district as a whole, does it feel like there's a need to win now?
Yeah. I mean, I try to tell my kids we don't get to walk into a gym and assume that we're going to win the game. So, even talking with my players, trying to basically amp them up for we're about to, hit these district games. We can't walk in to either one of those teams and think that we're going to walk away with a win. Northeast, they play hard. And so does West Creek. They're hanging in on some of these teams, looking at their scores. Like, they're right there, and I think a lot of times that's probably what a lot of people say about us too. We're right there. It's just, all three of us probably just need that one night where it really clicks with our players, where they all go, oh, wow, if I box out every single time, that changes the game. If I go after every single loose ball, that changes the game. So, those are going to be, I think you're going to look at those three of us as who wants it more, and that's going to be the team that walks away with the win on those nights.
Springfield opens district play on Tuesday against Rossview, but before then, obviously the Yellow Jackets have a pretty special night on Friday, hosting Gallatin in the back in the day game, where it's Bransford versus Union, two African-American based schools, and honoring the heritage that kind of came with the Desegregation Act in the 1970s. Coach, you talked a little bit about it last year whenever you guys had to reschedule and play Rossview in those uniforms. How special is it to play another school with those uniforms on Friday?
Oh, I'm very excited. I think it's great for the girls. I think it's and for the community to kind of look back and not, make sure that we've learned from our past, but also honor what those kids did at Bransford and at Union. They were very special athletes, very, very talented. And to kind of honor them and not wash them away, or, not just kind of be like, oh, we don't want to talk about that part of our history, but be like, hey, no, this happened. And there was some great things that happened at Bransford High School, and just to make sure that people remember them, remember their legacy. So we're excited. We're selling some pennants, some old school pennants to kind of raise money for their for the Bransford Alumni Scholarship Fund, that they give a scholarship to Springfield athletes. So I think it's usually one girl and one boy will receive it. So we want to help kind of honor that tradition as well. But I'm excited. When we played Gallatin at Gallatin, we only lost by 14. So, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be fun and a great atmosphere. And hopefully, hopefully we can turn the corner, I guess.
Well, it's going to be an exciting one either way, and I'm excited for it, me personally, not to give up too much away, but that's our game of the week in Robertson County this week. Coach, we really appreciate your time, and hope to see you then.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Tara. One final break here coming up on the show. When we come back, as usual, our One Thing segment, Game of the Week, Player of the Week, and we will see you after this break.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Tell me your name, sir. Where you are right now?
And we're back on Main Street Preps North, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. As Brady mentioned, our one thing, game of the week, player of the week. Brady, kick us off.
Yeah, so of course we talked about West Street boys winning their holiday tournament up in Kentucky. The Clarksville Academy girls also won a tournament. They traveled a little further, a little warmer for their tournament, going down in Florida, going 3-0 in their tournament there, getting a win. So congratulations to those two programs. Obviously, a lot of fun to be able to do that, play some ball over the holidays, hang out with your buddies, and of course win some games.
If there was one thing that I missed about not being a part of high school athletics, it was, those trips that teams got to take to, Florida during spring break or something. I would personally like to go to the beach, even if it's in December, get away for a little bit. You gave some congrats to West Creek boys and Clarksville Academy girls. Let me give congratulations to Bailey Serenier, the Jo Burns defensive lineman that committed to Concordia University, Wisconsin. A little bit far from home. I'm going to have to do the math on the mileage there, but the defensive lineman finished his senior season with 49 tackles and 2 sacks. Had a really good junior year. He also played running back for Jo Burns this season. So exciting future ahead of him. And, like I said, he's going to be quite a bit of ways from home.
Yeah, that is a hike going up to the Midwest, up in Wisconsin. Weather's a little different there than it is in Tennessee. Some more football weather up there for sure.
Yeah.
We're looking at finally having our Fab 15 segment back with the calendar turning over. And we got a couple teams represented in there from Clarksville. In the boys, the Clarksville Academy boys are ranked. I believe they were number 9 there out of all the teams in the mid-state. So big honor there. One second. Throat's a little scratchy. Excuse me. I was dabbing a little bit. Do the kids still do that?
What's going on?
Yeah, do the kids still do that?
No, they do not.
Okay. Well, maybe a couple years ago. But the CHS girls were in the just missed segment there. So we'll see if they can string a couple more wins together, maybe crack that top 15.
And we had a Robertson County team in the just missed section of our Fab 15 boys side. East Robertson at 10-3. They've won 9 straight and went 9-1 in the month of December. But as I mentioned in a story that you can look up on mainstreetpreps.com from last week, they're not satisfied. They are not happy. Coach Kurt Caton, after beating Christian Community by 19, really, I would say, nitpicked his team a little bit. Of course, their effort wasn't entirely there, and their effort's going to be needed in district play and especially in the region. But this is a team that's firing really well on offense, and, to kind of see their coach really, want more out of them shows a lot from somebody who wants to return to the state tournament after winning the championship last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of district play, though, that critical area time coming up, the time to get wins is now. So if teams are struggling, if they struggle in non-district play, hey, if that comes around now, that's what it's all about, because district play is starting up here. Some teams playing Friday in district play. Some teams wait until Tuesday to get going. Some teams like Clarksville Academy have already played a couple, but district play is starting up here. So that's kind of my final one thing, because that spans, all the teams in the area. That's kind of a good way to include everybody. Of course, Montgomery Central playing down there in 3A, Clarksville, Rossview, West Creek, Northeast, and of course Springfield, and then Dixon County and Henry County are joined by Northwest and Kenwood, while Clarksville Academy is over there in D2A. They'll be in my game of the week here in a second. So big time for all these teams, exciting time for all these teams, because this is when these games really start to matter.
As the coaches say, there's 3 seasons in a high school basketball season: the non-district slate. Now we're in the district slate, and then of course you get to postseason play. Give you one more from the first part of the season here. Springfield and White House Heritage played on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday, final game for them before Springfield goes to play Gallatin. And then White House Heritage plays Merrill Hyde before opening district play. Springfield got the sweep, surprisingly. The girls won 51-43. As we mentioned, talking with Tara Coran, extended that winning streak that they had this season. And then the boys really needed the win, and I'm going to get into that in our Player of the Week segment. They beat White House Heritage 53-38 after a really low-scoring affair the first time through.
Yep, and why don't we get into our game of the week here? Gallatin and Springfield, yeah, like you said, that's going to be awesome. Clarksville Academy and Good Pasture is my game. I mean, this is two of the top teams in the state. Like I said, Clarksville Academy ranked number 9. Good Pasture is ranked number 2 in our Fab 15. So that's a top 10 matchup, top 9 matchup if you want to get into the semantics of it. Of course, Good Pasture, guys like Isaiah West, former Springfield guy, Blaine did a really good story on that. Clarksville Academy, Eddie Ricks committed to Morehead State, while Isaiah West is coming to Vanderbilt. So a couple D1 prospects there. And of course, lots of good players around them on the court. So that's going to be a really exciting game. Really good coaches, really good atmospheres, really good rivalry. So Russell Venosa is going to be at that one for us at Good Pasture. So expect some awesome coverage. And I personally can't wait to see how that one turns out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure a couple of those games went down to the wire last year. I know Russell was at least at one of those, and I think it went down to the last couple of possessions. So really exciting there. As we mentioned, Bransford and Union, Springfield and Gallatin playing Friday, more about the history than the games themselves. Coach Coran made it sound like we're going to have a couple of good ones. So I'm kind of banking on her for that. But if not, it's still, really great to see the history of something like that. You don't really see it in too many mid-state schools. So really exciting to watch. Player of the week, Brady.
Yeah, so my player of the week, familiar name, Amari Berry. Of course, Tara Coran mentioned her, how talented she is. Scored 32 points in a win over Northwest, so they swept their county rival. She's just really good, man. I know I've used her quite a few times now for player of the week, but when she's when she's on, man, she's the best player, probably arguably in the mid-state. Obviously Jelani Cambridge, awesome player as well. Those are really your two players that you're always looking out for as those top dogs in girls basketball.
And I know we saw Clarksville Academy and Ensworth play earlier in the season. I wish we could see Clarksville and Ensworth play, so we could see Jelani Cambridge versus Amari Berry. Brady, who would you take? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who'd you take in that?
Oh, man. Well, if you're going by rankings, Jelani Cambridge, number 1 player in that class. Amari Berry, not too far behind. They've played each other in the AAU district. I've talked to Amari's AAU head coach, Anya Shelton. She said that Amari is, right there with her. Of course, Jelani playing with kind of one of those like sponsored teams, one of those big time programs. So she's got a little more D1 talent around her to kind of help her out. High D1 talent, of course. But Amari and the Tennessee Soul, they hang in there right with her. So, if I had to pick one, man, that is tough. I'll go with Amari, though, to satisfy my Clarksville people.
Got to do it. My player of the week does not have as much flair as Amari Berry, but it's in his name. Kamarian Flair for Springfield, a game-high 18 points on Tuesday. Part of the reason, unfortunately, was that this was the only game that's been played this week in Robertson County so far. So still a good win for first-year coach Terrence Williams in Springfield. Like I said, they really needed that one, and we'll see if it carries over to Friday.
Absolutely, and you hope for Springfield's sake that it will. Springfield, a team that has a chance to potentially compete a little bit here, maybe get 2 seed possibly in that district, as Rossi is kind of the one dominant team. Of course, West Creek is right there. And obviously very talented, but we're going to see what happens there. I would have West Creek kind of penciled in as that number 2, but you never know what could happen here as that second season begins.
Well, that's going to wrap us up here on Main Street Preps North, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Thank you guys for watching today. A great episode to start 2023, and we'll be back at it next week. Thanks to our producer, Justin Kulik. Great first job, buddy. We'll see you.